Hi everyone, Lynden here. Just a quick note before this podcast. There's a weird knocking noise that wasn't picked up during the recording that's present in some of this podcast. Apologies for that. Nothing I can do. I'll make sure that's not there in the future. No idea what it was. Also in the intro I say it's episode 9. It's not, it's episode 8. Enjoy. Good afternoon and welcome to episode 9 of Hillian's Talk. Live from the MTC, I believe we're going with.
Yes.
I'm here with Jack and absolutely delighted to be here with owner and chairman David Corney. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
You good? You looking nervous? Happy? Excited?
I'm nervous, and I suspect there's going to be lots of. You're going to have to cut that. And actually, I shouldn't have said that. So
I'm going to leave it all in.
Great.
Good.
Another FA charge. Fantastic.
No, we'll be kind in the edit, but you'll be fine. You'll do it. We'll be gentle with you. Oh well, thanks for coming to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
We've been looking forward to this one, and now the season is officially underway. We've got lots to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we'll come on to Potter's Bar, I think, but maybe I think as we have you, we'd like to sort of take a little bit of a stroll down memory lane and a deep dive into your history and what brought you to the wonderful world of Burgess Hill. Because I think I speak for pretty much everyone when I say we're glad you and Vicky are here.
Understatement
of the year, probably. Yeah,
very much so.
Super happy.
You say that, but when I turn this into a housing estate, you're going to regret it.
No, I need a new place to live actually. So as long as I get first dibs, I'm all good. Yeah.
It's a nice little one bed. That's condo.
Yeah.
I should probably point out that was a joke.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Just
come on, guys, joke.
Yeah. Car park at the moment. I think.
It is looking like so. Yeah, as we are recording this, we are as always sitting in the clubhouse and just been tarmacked. Is there many more layers to go? Or?
There is. So
no pun intended.
Monday, or there's a rumour even later on this week, the shock pad is the next layer to go on. So that's the sort of layer to hopefully reduce the number of injuries that are going on.
Very huge thanks for those injuries.
Yes.
Debunked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I liked your point about that. And then the grass, so the artificial grass. So probably by the end of next week, you're going to see that as green.
Start seeing like a football pitch. That is so exciting.
It is nice. Like obviously we come here every couple of weeks, me and you, Lynden, and every time we come back here, there's another like really noticeable development of the ground done. It's just it's like a little time lapse for us. We keep popping up and seeing.
And it's ramping up like super quick as well. Like this progress was slow and steady at first, and then especially this tarmacking sort of layer has been.
It was done in a day.
Yeah. Crazy.
It was just unbelievable.
Blinking.
I mean, I guess that's kind of like the logistics. I'm no tarmacker, but I guess the logistics of tarmac is you need to do it relatively quick and get it done all in.
Well, from my perspective, I don't know anything about the building trade whatsoever. And when we it was all specced out about what it was going to be. They were just words to me. We do this and we do that. And as the project's gone on, you kind of think, okay, I now understand what's going on here. But it's a huge job. It's absolutely monstrous job that, we're about 10 weeks into this and I had no idea the level of complexities and how much work it is put in it. But amazing stuff. I mean, that said, that tarmac went down in a day. And they did it with a machine that looked like something out of Mad Max. It was just an incredible day of just zigzagging and laying down tarmac, and it was just like, and it just so happened to be that Vicky and I were there that day, and every time we looked out the window, bloody hell, they've done another sort of lap of it. So it was so impressive, and the company Velocity, the contractors, we chose them because they had experience of doing 3Gs at clubs similar to us, and I couldn't find anybody to fault their work, and I'm not surprised because they've been fantastic to deal with and really know their stuff, and you just see what they've done, and I'm so excited when the fans come and see the place because it's going to be bonkers.
Yeah, I'm a little bit what's the word I'm looking for, sort of excited and kind of a little bit happy that we might get a little bit of a sneak preview given the work that we do down here, that we might have to get in here a couple of days earlier than some of the other fans, and I'm looking forward to that little sneak peek. Yeah, and I'm feel gutted for the fans, but at the same time I'm lucky. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Important ones get the opening.
Exactly.
Opening ceremony.
Everyone's equal, but some are more equal than others.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Animal Farm, good book.
I'd missed that. Went right over my head. That I'm not very cultured. So. Although I did do Animal Farm at school, so clearly I didn't pay attention that much.
Was it the dodgy film though?
No, it was the. I'm going to embarrass myself now. George Orwell.
Yeah,
it
it
was,
is very good. Do you know what?
I got one mark at least.
You did listen in school.
This is a highly educational podcast.
Oh, this is
And suddenly it's gone from Burgess Hill to Animal Farm.
Yeah. I did Lord of the Flies as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, what time to be alive.
Well, I suppose back to the present day, or even not so much the present day actually. No, because I'm not going to talk about the present day, but sort of what you were touching on. Obviously, we've spoken about the ground. That's all going on as we speak, and that's the most exciting development that's ever happened to Burgess Hill, really. But just in terms of yourself and your start of your involvement with the club, obviously you and Vicky. I know you've probably been asked this quite a lot, and you've probably discussed this numerous times with people. So we'll try and keep this sort of bit of the podcast slightly shortened. But I suppose just on a sort of nutshell, I suppose, how did it come about that a person with no real ties to Burgess Hill but absolutely loved football, how did it come about that you suddenly become the sort of owner and key holder of a mid Sussex Isthmian football club?
So as you mentioned, Vicky and I are big football fans. We're football fans. We're not footballers, football coaches, anything like that. We like watching other people play football, and we all our lives have been watching football. Vicky, I'd say the world is quite sexist when it comes to women watching football. They make the assumption that Vicky is in this because she's my wife. She is as more committed, if not more, to football than I am. She absolutely loves it. Her team's Middlesbrough. She was watching it as a teenager, way before she met me. We love football and have done for many years. Sort of before COVID, we used to be involved in a cricket club for 10 years. St Peter's down in Brighton, we were chairman, Vicky was treasurer. We thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a really good thing to be part of. It's part of the community. I like cricket as well. But we kind of felt that we'd taken that club as far as we could go. And we kind of thought, well, do you know what? Let's look at getting involved in a non-league football club. We kind of spent maybe a couple of years on the road going and seeing different non-league football clubs. Weirdly enough, we hadn't come to see Burgess Hill for various different reasons, but we hadn't. And then COVID hit. Our business is quite dependent on people travelling. We make our money in travel insurance. So it was a kind of exactly. So it was a kind of slightly worrying time. So we kind of parked that idea of getting involved. And then came out of COVID, and somebody who Steve Purser, who is now our under 18s counties manager. I used to coach his son cricket years ago, and he rang me up out the blue and he said, I know the guys at the Burgess Hill Town Football Club. Why don't you come up there and see what's going on? And we did. We came up and sat exactly where we're sat right now, and had a chat to the owners at the time, and they convinced us to put some money in, which we did. And I tell you what, it was. We didn't really give it a lot of thought, a lot of due diligence and careful consideration, but actually it's turned out. Yeah, I know, it actually has turned out really well because the club is perfect for us. We live in Brighton, so it's location-wise is good. I think the one club town is a really good draw. The opportunity to make this club, important to the people of Burgess Hill is important. If you have a club that's got a club that's in a town that's got multiple clubs, that's a challenge in itself. But actually, Burgess Hill, if you're from Burgess Hill, if you're a business in Burgess Hill, you've got one club to support, and that's us. So that works well. The fans are absolutely fantastic. The volunteers are fantastic. And also the other fear that we had in getting involved in the club, would that, there'd be a board of directors that didn't necessarily want us, that we're outsiders, maybe because we're not from Burgess Hill, or that we've not been involved in the club for years. Who are you? We haven't had that at all. All we've just had is people welcoming. And from that perspective, the politics hasn't been here that maybe exists in lots of clubs. And I think maybe, where we can go with this club, we don't really know. but actually, because, and I don't want to be rude to Burgess Hill, because it hasn't got a history. It's not like a former football league club where the fans are sort of looking back to bygone days and expecting you to get there. Actually, Burgess Hill, where we go, is all uncharted territory, and that's quite exciting. And it's slightly less pressurised than had we have got involved in another club that maybe has seen better days, because actually the best days could be ahead of ourselves.
I think they are.
I mean, it's just funny you mention that, because it literally is. The Isthmian Prem is the highest league that we've ever got to. Obviously, we were there back in 2014-15, and then we spent 4 or 5 years at the same level we are at now. But we've never been higher than this. So this is where we are right now. People could argue that this is the most successful that we've ever been. This is our sort of peak at the moment. So, like you say, you don't know where things could go in the future. But if it does, potentially get better than this and improve, then you'll be the sort of. You and Vicky will be the people that have taken us to the the highest we've ever been, which I suppose from an owner's point of view is a pretty nice sort of tag to sort of look back on perhaps later on in life and say, look, we were part of that.
I think so, and we want to. Okay, so it's very it's slightly egotistical running a football club and owning a football club. You're doing it as a project to try and achieve something, and that's kind of how we've done it. I mean, we've been in business for 27 years. That's great, and I thoroughly enjoy what I do for a living. But actually, we like doing other things, and we're quite competitive individuals, and we like building stuff and that sort of thing. So a football club is absolutely ideal, and we want to achieve something. We don't want to just come here and just continue the status quo. We want to sort of build on not forgetting its heritage and the importance of the fans, and at the end of the day, no matter how long we're involved in the club, we're still not going to be Burgess Hill through and through. There's going to be people who've been watching it since they were kids, and it's their club, but actually build on that and see how far we can take it. So yeah.
And has there been a lot of like I know you said you started at a cricket club and you ran a cricket club for 10 years. Have you found there's been like since coming to the football club, there's been a lot of transferable skills? Is it's similar? I know, like obviously different sports, but how have you found it? Like I imagine it's not the easy is definitely not the word, but how have you found it coming from a cricket club to a football club? Is there many similarities, differences?
So there are some similarities. I mean, certainly you've got things like bar catering, facilities you're running, pitch maintenance, all those kind of things. The big difference is the raison d'etre for the club. So when you run a cricket club, it's for the cricketers. Okay, it's for the people swinging the bat, and that's because there's nobody watching it. There's no fans watching the cricket. There's not hardly anybody watching it with professional level. So I know
a few listeners of this podcast who may have just alienated.
Colin Bowman.
At village cricket level, nobody's watching it. And certainly nobody's paying to watch it. When you come to a non-league football club, it's not about the players. Okay. Obviously, you need to treat the players right. You need to give them respect. You need to look after them, because you expecting them to put their body on their line for us. But ultimately, it's an entertainment. Like we're in the entertainment business in a football club. In the cricket club, it's a sports club. This isn't a sports club. Okay, this is the entertainment business. Certainly the senior side of it. Yeah. The juniors is obviously about providing, junior opportunities for juniors to play to play football. But in terms of the senior first team, it's about the fans coming through the door, the turnstiles. So that is the focus, and that's the big difference between it. And it's why, I mean, commercially it's different. I mean, we actually made money at the cricket club, albeit it didn't end up in anybody's pocket. It was a mutual thing that we reinvested, but this loses money. But it's primarily because you've got to pay players. But ultimately, I know, damn that. But ultimately, it is about the fans and respecting them, because players, as I said, I'm a romantic with players. I want them to stay at the club forever. I want them to care about the club, and a few of them do. A few of them that we play actually are Burgess Hill people through and through, and probably want to spend their whole career here. But there are some of the players that quite understandably come and go, and that they're here for part of their career, while fans are here for life, and actually that's a very, very different thing. That was a very long answer.
No, it's good.
Cricket.
It was a very good answer. And I suppose one thing when I was listening that sort of sprung to my mind as well, with the sort of difference, I suppose, between your time at St. Peter's and to now is probably that would it be fair to say that there's a lot more sort of expectation on your shoulders now, because like you say, at St. Peter's, it's for the people that are playing cricket. You've just got to keep that squad and that environment happy. Whereas here, you've got to keep obviously the management and the staff, but you've also got to keep the 400 to 500 fans, and of course everyone else that comes to the home games. You're now sort of, for want of a better word, sort of in charge of making sure that this is the best experience, the best football club, on and off the pitch that you can. That's quite a big responsibility. Is that probably the biggest thing that's a difference?
It is, and what's weird is that at St. Peter's, being a members club, I was elected every year. Right, so I had to stand for re-election. Now, okay, it wasn't very difficult.
Did you run unopposed?
Surprisingly enough, no. Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to do it. So, but it is a mutual thing. You had to go to the AGM. Any sort of big decisions, we would do it as a vote and those kind of things. But you're right. There wasn't a huge level of expectation, albeit we actually we really grew that club, and it became it became a thing. We did a lot to that club, but the football club, as owners, you don't have to go for election. Well, certainly in the ownership model that we have at Burgess Hill, it is owned by, individuals, and therefore you don't have to run it past the fans. Mm-hmm. However, the criticism that comes at football clubs is much, much, much greater than a cricket club. And therefore, despite the fact you just own it and you just say, I want to do that, I want to do that, it's not as easy as that, because you have got to bring everybody with you. Because, people are very critical, and, they are, again, it may on paper belong to you legally, but it doesn't. It belongs to the people that care about it. So you've got to be even more careful with it. It's a precious 140-year-old institution. So it's I think there's way more pressure here. And financially, there's obviously pressure. We didn't need to put any money in St. Peter's. And this, well, maybe I put a few quid in, but not to anywhere near the level that this club needs.
Mm. Yeah. Very, very good. I mean, I'm just sort of looking ahead. Should we sort of finish there and sort of talk about Potter's Bar?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
Pleasure.
I sort of swing to Potter's Bar because I was sort of going to mention, obviously about the sort of pressure so far, but probably, in your sort of short tenure here so far, there's not been, loads that has gone sort of drastically wrong so far. You sort of come in and sort of swaggled your way into overseeing a promotion in the most dramatic way possible in the playoffs, and obviously our season started Saturday and we've continued that run and sort of got 3 points on opening day. So this foot managing and sort of overseeing a football club's pretty straightforward.
It's
really.
easy game. I've got the
Yeah.
Midas touch. I just whisper in Gary and Jay-Z and just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And that's
The
obviously
third manager.
a joke as well.
Tell Chris Welp to be able to shoot from 30 yards every game as well. We'll be fine.
He did it in pre-season, did it at Potter's Bar. Our flow chart of football should just be, does Chris have the ball? No, get it to Chris. Is he shooting? No, get him to shoot.
It is. I mean, it was amazing that day in Sittingbourne. I mean, it's just probably one of the greatest moments I've ever encountered at any sporting thing. It was just such an amazing, the way we did it and the whole emotion around it. But I do feel, from a personal perspective, it's come very quickly, right? And there would have been a nice to have savoured the moment of have maybe a couple of years at the top of that league before we enter in this thing, because promotion is,
It's a big change.
Yeah, it is a change. There's only so many number of promotions. Let's be honest, we're not going to make it to the Premier League. Right, it's
not
just,
with that attitude.
I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. So there's a certain number of promotions until we need to have a relegation in order to have another promotion. So there is a certain amount of savouring the moment, and within 3 months of taking over as chairman, we got promoted. You think, oh, okay, right, that's great. So, so it'd be nice to think that in a period of time we could get another promotion, and whatever that period of time it is. I don't know how many more promotions we could get as a club. I don't know how much I can afford, and I don't know how much we could, as a club, sustain. But we can always dream and see how it goes. I'm not saying great plans about what we're going to do because I've no idea on that front. It'll be what it be. But there is that kind of. It is really exciting, and I haven't seen the downsides yet of what is going to be like if we've lost 5 games on the trot. I get on really well with Gary and Jay on a personal note as well. That's I'm not an interfering type person because I don't know what I'm adding. I don't know. Football to me is people kicking the ball in pretty patterns, and I just watch the ball. People saying they're off the ball. I have no idea. I'm following the ball. So I have no idea about. So I can't really add any value to what they're doing. But at the moment, it's great. So I'm going to just let them get on with their job, and then at the end of the season, then we'll just see how it's gone, and then make a decision if we want to carry on that plan. So that's easy to say at the moment because it's going well. But if we're bottom at Christmas, and I'm not going to change the plan. I'm just going to carry on regardless. So that may be not great for fans. Why are we putting up with this and whatever? So I haven't had the bad side of being chairman yet. So I am slightly dreading that. And let's be honest, if I'm going to be involved in the club for as long as I want to, as I think I am, which is 10 years plus, it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to have 10 years of mid-table boredom, aren't we?
This podcast will get quite boring if we actually it's like, well, we're going to have one again.
It's just
as we do.
We're going to be sort of champions of the known universe if we carry on like this.
Yeah.
So
I personally won't be happy until I get to watch us on Match of the Day on a Saturday night. So it's got some work to do.
Yeah, that's it. FA Cup first round.
This is it. I think we'll touch on the FA Cup first round, but all good things start somewhere, and this good thing starts at Potter's Bar, clearly, because like we touched on, great season last season, and then we come back up to the Isthmian Prem, and it is a little bit of an unknown because we've watched the South East teams for the last sort of 5-6 years, and we're pretty clued up on who's quite good, who we might be favourites against. But then you come into a league with total unknowns really, and you never sort of know how well we're going to do, how well the opposition are, and then we away from home, quite a tricky away ground, clean sheet, 3 points. It was
what's not to love.
Right. And you were there, obviously, David. So just from your following the ball for 90 minutes assessment of the of the
Give
football,
us your expert breakdown minute by minute.
I mean, from my side, I definitely think it was a very typical season opener, and it was quite scrappy. There wasn't, it was quite cagey. It was quite clear that no team wanted to sort of lose rather than both teams wanting to win. But we obviously did win thanks to a moment of brilliance. Was that sort of fair to say? Was that your assessment of the 90 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was one of those games. I mean, I think we played the better football. We passed it around nicely. It was just kind of one of those games that I feared. There was lots of scrambles in our box. I can't actually remember Rocco making a save.
No,
I might be wrong that. But there was the kind of thing where you could see a scramble and them somehow getting a foot on it and going in. I felt we played better. I don't feel we were totally in control of the game. I thought there was periods, certainly in the middle of the second half, weirdly enough, before we scored, where the game was very disjointed and we'd kind of lost our shape a bit and control of what we were doing. And I think probably caused by the slightly chaotic way that they played. Which was probably on purpose, but we scored a fantastic goal. We brought on a new lad there up front, which it caused all sorts of mayhem, didn't he? And that kind of led to the goal, really. So yeah, it was good. I'm certainly very pleased. And going up on the bus, I kind of started thinking about the game. I hadn't really thought about the game at all. There'd been so much going on here.
Yeah.
And I kind of then convinced myself that actually this is a must-win game. I know it's stupid for it to be the first game of the season, but I kind of felt that we got such a tough week with the Cray Valley game and the Averley game, if we lost that game, we could have ended up the week with 3 games, no points. So I kind of just felt that not that it takes the pressure off the next 2 games, but actually getting some points on the board and sort of making a statement that actually I don't know where we're going to offend, but we can actually get some points.
Yeah, right? We can compete in the league.
Actually felt something
established.
So it became a must-win game, and actually it was, and we did win it. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah. It's exactly what I've been saying to the sort of other fans when we're at the game. It must win. It must win sounds silly, doesn't it? Opening day of the season, but I totally agree with what you're saying, because just on paper, just from the if we look at how the 3 teams we're playing for the first 3 games finished last year, we're playing Cray Valley, who team that lost in the playoffs last year, Averley, who were in the league above last year in the National South, who've just come down. So on paper, those 2 games look quite challenging, and then
tough week.
Mm.
And then Potter's Bar finished sort of around 15th, 16th in the league, nowhere sort of near relegation. They were quite comfortable, but just out of those 3 games, certainly on paper, they looked the ones that seemed like was going to be a sort of closest match to us. So for us to get that win, it was like you said, doesn't take the pressure off, but certainly. I think in this league is you need points on the board early, because you don't want to be sort of looking over your shoulder and then sort of chasing things, and then it all sort of breeds into confidence drops and things like that.
Especially with so many away games, six league games, because of the pitch being played away, that's has added pressure as well. So it's I think it was a really, really important win, weirdly important win.
A good start. It must be tough for the players. Like the players have said in multiple interviews, multiple times, that the fan support is a big thing. So not having quite as much of a fan support, because we don't take as many fans away as we have at home. Naturally, I think that's true of most teams. So to have so many away games must take a bit of a toll on the players. So to get off to a good start and to have that support from the fans going up on the coaches, the clubs have been very kind enough to put on coaches for the away games. So I think to get that footholds early doors is great for us, especially with a...
Mind you, I was really, really pleased. We always have a guess how many fans we take away, and sadly enough, we go around counting, because that's the kind of people we are. And we counted about 75 Burgess Hill fans.
That's great.
Travelling out to Potter's Bar. That's a really... In August, it's pretty darn good. And I was really pleased. And excellent supporters ever. So I think, again... One of the things I think like about Burgess Hill, it's got fans. There's a few clubs, no names, that we played, especially last year, that I don't understand the point. If you're not playing, you haven't got any fans.
Yeah.
What's the point? You must be playing in the park. Burgess has genuinely got genuine fans that travel away and make a noise, and actually sing songs. And one of them sounds very similar to a Millwall song as well, which is very weird.
Definitely not the reason he decided to become Burgess Hill owner.
Yeah, but no, Saturday was great, really good, really good.
I'm glad. I'm looking forward to some of these away games, some new grounds.
Are you actually going to go though?
Oh, don't you start as well.
Ding ding ding.
Yes, I'm trying. Just speak to my wife. She'll let me out. And she doesn't listen to this. I can say what I want. Although I told her I said that in the last podcast as well, so she might start listening.
She's definitely going to listen to this one.
There's no way she doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, no, she definitely doesn't. She has to listen to me at home. She doesn't want to listen to it in or some sort of recorded format as well.
It's true.
Yeah.
True.
No, I will. I'm definitely going to Lewis. 100%.
Oh, you mean the one just down the road?
Yeah, absolutely.
On Bank Holiday Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely coming to Brentwood. Brentwood.
Brentwood
Brentwood is. I don't know why I keep an S in there. I've done it twice now. Brentwood, 100% coming to, and Averley I can't because she's out. So I've got a parent apparently. Apparently, you can't leave 3-year-olds on their own.
But you've got like a huge family. Loads of brothers. Can they not?
Yeah, Nat
do
listens
that?
to this. Nat, do you want to? No. Look after us. Yeah, no, Averley I can't. And then Cray, hopefully. Undetermined tomorrow. So I'll let you know.
Hopefully.
I'll be
cool.
there.
Nice little segue onto Cray there, actually, because obviously Cray, we're recording this the day before Cray Valley, so that's on our next game tomorrow. Like I mentioned, a team that lost in the Isthmian Prem playoffs last year, so it's certainly on paper a very tough challenge. Another team similar to us though that since we've been following come up through our league, they used to be a South East club and sort of in the last few years got promoted to the Prem, and like I just mentioned, have now been in the Isthmian Prem playoffs. So for yourself, David, looking at that, and obviously looking at teams like Chichester and teams that have come up, it's this league isn't just one where you come up and you're fighting for your life for survival, is it? There is genuine, realistic ambitions to look higher than that, into the top half, and maybe even higher than that.
And do you know what? I literally am changing my mind on a daily basis about how we're going to do. It drives Vicky nuts. Because one hand I'm panicking, going, but what if we get relegated? What if we get relegated the first season up? What a disaster that would be. Do you know what? We might make playoffs, and it's just, for God's sake. And I think that's the problem, is that Chichester, it's the Chichester thing.
Yeah.
Right, Chichester. The
effect.
I have no idea how much they spend on players. I don't know who any other club spend on players. But they got promoted through the playoffs in the same way that we did last year, and blimey, they missed out on playoffs on the last day of the season.
Yep.
Right. How amazing was that? Now, okay, they had the league's top goal scorer, Jimmy Wild, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Obviously, that helps if you've got somebody that scores that sort of bags of goals. But they did amazingly well. I think Craig Valley, actually, the year before last, they annihilated this league. They were really good. And their ability to hold their thing, but then they came third, didn't they? So is the gap between the Southeast and the Premier big? We will find out pretty soon. But I do literally change my mind. I say every day, probably every hour, on how we're going to do this season. But it does give you hope, doesn't it?
It does.
But that's what kills you.
It does. But a good stat I saw today, I actually was told today, that for those that like a bet, Burgess Hill have dropped. Before Potter's Bar, we were 49-1 to win the league. We're now 40-1 to win the league.
Wow.
And we can't. That's been huge for me. In fact, we can bet on Burgess Hill again.
Yeah.
Except I've been told I can't.
Yeah.
Oh no, official important people have to.
That gives me a sort of 4-week stint in Ford Open Prison.
Us lowly media and stats techies, we're allowed.
Yeah. The people that talk too much, me, can run his mouth on bets. But actually, quite a few of us who were on the train went up there, put some money on Burgess Hill to win, and come back happy and rich. So it was really a really successful day, to be honest.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously the betting site that I went to look just for research purposes, obviously, had us down as the outsiders, the favourites for relegation. Obviously, all the prediction leagues had us rock bottom.
I've seen a few of those. Quite harsh.
And I suppose it's. There is no data. I mean, if I didn't know anything about this club, I would probably put us right at bottom.
Yeah,
because
I think
we got promoted. We were miles behind Sittingbourne in terms of the table. We got quite a shock penalty win against them, albeit absolutely deserved on the night, but it was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? So we've now come out to this league. What else do people think? And on the basis that I change my view every hour, they could be absolutely right. But we are the underdogs in this league. So
I think we're fine going into games. A lot of games this year, we will be considered the underdogs and not the favourites. Even at home, when it's traditionally the home team has that slight advantage. I think for a while, until we sort of establish ourselves and keep getting results like we did on Saturday, I think that will turn around pretty quick. But everyone knows we're going to finish 12th, and Jack's going to have to pay me $10,000.
I've heard this. So, this is great. In Bitcoin or just cash?
I'll take Bitcoin. Yeah.
The more that we talk about it, the more that I realise what a silly boy I was in saying that, because I might have to just disappear for a while if
start saving up now.
Yeah, that's
if you put I don't think how many games are into this season. If you put like 200, 300 quid away every game, you should be all right.
We could, if there's nothing to play for at the end of the season, you could use maybe some of that money and get them to throw a few games.
Yeah,
sort of.
I'm going to have to really think about this the closer we get to the end of the season. Hopefully we just win the league, and I'd have to finish about 12.
If we finish 12, I'm going to be so drunk on that podcast.
I'm so in trouble if we finish 12.
Who wants to finish 12th? I mean, that's basically. I mean, it's a weird thing.
I would happily finish 12th this season.
Okay, you take that.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just for this season, not a sort of. Not a Crystal Palace to finish 12th every year.
I'd take 17th. That'd be fine.
Oh yes.
I'm.
As long as it's not the last day of the season that we go 17th.
We could do without that nail biting. But I think we said it might have been on the last podcast before that I don't think we'll be the team that goes up and straight back down. I don't think there's any danger of that happening. I think we've got the depth, we've got the talent, the backing, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we've got everything to be hopeful for. Obviously, 2 really tough games coming up. Well, a very tough month, obviously. But I was going to sort of say, when we were talking about Cray Valley and Averley, like, at the end of this month, and when we sort of look into September, and when we finally do get back home, without meaning this in a really negative way, but wherever we are in the league after those 6 away games, it's going to be a false position, isn't it, to everyone else in the league, because we're going to have obviously only played away from home. So, my sort of worry going into Potter's Bar, similar to what you said about if we lose, then you start throwing the worst. But my thinking was that whatever happens up until that Carshalton game, say if we are in the or before then, if we were in the bottom 3 or 4, then it's not really where we are though, because we haven't played in front of our fans, haven't played at home. Obviously, the run over Christmas is going to make us catch up. I think we've got five on the trot, and that's going to be obviously then is where we'll have to really fill our boots in terms of getting back. I know everyone plays each other home and away, but it is tough to play 6 away games on the trot to start with for non-professional players, especially on a Friday night, who have to work Friday or at their respective jobs, get up at whatever time, then travel to Essex, play football, then travel back home, after they've just played Tuesday night. It's an interesting thing to think about. I think.
Well, I'm hoping that the Lewis game at the end of the month is going to feel like a home game. I'm hoping the Burgess Hill fans are going to fill the dripping pan.
We will. I assure you we will.
I've been to many Burgess Hill Lewis fixtures. It's one of my favourite away days, if not my favourite away day.
It can't be any better. Bank holiday Monday in August. Yeah. It's going to be absolutely. The weather hopefully should be great. Yeah. Pub crawl before, pub crawl afterwards.
So many good pubs in Lewis.
So good.
Yeah. We still, Burgess Hill fans still talk about one of our favourite, of memory, most recent sort of favourite away days is Lewis away. The last time we played them on New Year's Day in 2018, 2019, sorry. And we beat them 3-0 that day, and that was the season we got relegated. So it was obviously one of our sort of better moments that season. But we still talk about it to that day. Ben Pope scored for us that day. It was just, it was such a good day. So we've got very good memories of Lewis and the dripping pan. So hopefully in a couple of weeks' time we can add more to those. To be honest,
can't wait for it.
But it is going to be tough for the away fixtures. But that's right. If we can get any points away on the road, it's a bonus to keep us in a position.
It's really it's a hard thing to do. To get points in this league's no given, and points away from home, because obviously for any club you're sort of banking on your home points to get the majority of your points, and then the away point, you're always looking to get a draw, on the roads, keep sort of 0-0 and try and nick a win sort of thing. But like I said, for us, for our first 6 games, we've got to try and sort of spin
I think
that.
There's also, they were hoping to get a bounce from playing at home. We're going to have obviously the new pitch. There's lots of things going on around it that hopefully will bring in the punters, so that we get a bit of a spike in terms of the fans. And that momentum hopefully will get the players excited, and they'll raise their game. I know that as a football fan, I don't know why they don't have raised their game all games, but but that's the nature of football, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those games will be exciting because they are on our new pitch. Gary has basically said to me for years that 3G. We'll play better on 3G because the way that they play and all these kind of things. So
train on it. We're used to it.
The training, exactly. They won't have to go down to St Paul's to train. Yeah. They'll be doing it here, so they get used to it. So all of those little sort of benefits will come in, and of course, when they see their gifs on the big video scoreboard they'll be desperate to score more goals to see themselves celebrating on the scoreboard. So what more motivation do they need?
What more does a football club need?
I loved filming those and getting Rocco to do one. I can't wait for Rocco to score.
Yes. Rocco was like, do you want me to do a goal? We're like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Just because we can't have you score and not have one, because it just looks silly.
Wind-assisted drop kick.
Oh, yes.
I did see once, back in about 1990, I saw Maidstone United the goalkeeper scored a goal, and he literally bounced over the keeper's thing into there.
The Chatham goalkeeper scored here about 3 years ago.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember
on non-league
that.
day. Yeah, it was just a goal kick. Yeah.
I think we need to keep our finger on the Rocco goal button.
Recently we've seen, unfortunately, the opposition goalkeeper, but we've seen a goalkeeper score here. That was one of the most bonkers things I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. I remember that. I was at that game.
Wow.
I do go.
Okay.
And then he also got sent off a few minutes later for something totally irrelevant to the goal, but a strange game for him. He scored and got sent off as a goalkeeper.
That is
Weirdly, I
Interesting.
don't remember that.
That's
but
very odd.
I do remember the goal.
Yeah. But, well, I've got sort of one final topic to bring. I'm not sure if you've got sort of closing. things
One
to
little
say as
bit
well,
left, but you go first.
Just you sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier. Is about I know from speaking to you, I know from probably other fans that listen to speaking to as well. What in your dream world would be the best result this season, and that would be to get into the FA Cup first round.
Oh, yeah.
I know as a like I said, a football loving fan, and for obviously for us as well, it's never been ever in the FA Cup first round. Again, that would be a fantastic thing for under your stewardship to do. Now, I'm not sure if you've thought a lot about this or not, so I'm going to put you on the spot here totally. You know, now let's just say FA Cup goes really, really well. We get into the FA Cup first round. Obviously, all the Football League, the League 1, League 2 clubs are in it, as well as all the other teams. Now, what would be your perfect game if you could choose? A team or a venue? Away, would you, or would you want a home?
Oh,
What would you like?
God,
And then who
okay.
as well?
So, do you know what? I'm obsessed with the FA Cup. I think it's
It's such a
the
good
world's
competition.
greatest
It's
competition.
so good.
The thought that, you know, and it's the early rounds. Let's be honest, nobody watches the final anymore, right? Because the same teams in it. Well, I don't watch the final anyway. It's actually the early
Especially
rounds.
don't watch it, considering the last result.
Yeah. Oh yes.
As an avid
Yeah.
Brighton fan.
Yes, it wasn't popular for my Millwall side either. But anyway, however though, they were great on the day. But actually, it's the early rounds. It's the stories of, you know, somebody who's a part-time fireman and they're playing, you know, against a professional, and
Yeah.
you know, the whole country wants the underdog to win, and that's what you want. I mean, it's so British, isn't it?
Even
Is
the
that,
fans
you know,
of the big team that are playing, I think a little part of them wants the little team to win.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Millwall getting turned over by, I think it was Woking, a few years back, and basically Millwall fans giving Woking a standing ovation because they were at the Den and they turned us over. I'm sure it's Woking, and actually there's that respect, isn't it? That, you know, a lower league amateur club or semi-professional club can actually do something, and that's what makes it amazing. And you know, the thing that it would do for this club and this town to get through to that, and, you know, be live on BBC One on a Sunday afternoon and have all the car parks filled of the BBC vans because they've got the cameras here. I mean, it would be the greatest moment in this club's
Without
history.
doubt.
So there is obviously the temptation to be away from home, because wouldn't that be exciting to go to a big club and you know, bring maybe 1,000 Burgess Hill fans to a
absolutely.
and you know, great for the players, they can talk about it. But then ultimately, it would be better if it was here. I think a home draw here. Don't know how we're going to fit them all in the car park, especially if the BBC are parked in there.
Might have to rent out Lidl or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could be in
We'd
trouble.
have to ask everybody to get the train. But however, though, we got about 1,500 in here for the Margate game.
Yes.
So, you know, realistically, we're not going to get more than 2,000 in here at the moment. So it's probably not a big step. So, yeah, I think a home draw, and against who? So, you know, what are you looking at in Div 2? So Cardiff there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are now. Yeah.
So who else is in that league?
Down here.
That'd be the same.
That would be, yeah. We might
Bolton.
have to, Bolton Wanderers,
Wanderers.
yeah. I think we
like
might
that.
have to see if the local constabulary can lend us a few people that night.
Yeah.
It could be quite interesting.
Steve Bruce's Blackpool.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
Blackpool.
Steve
it.
Bruce
Yeah, it's
against
good.
Gary Mansell and Jay Lovett.
I mean, I suppose from a local perspective, Crawley
Yeah.
would be
Do you think
something.
that might be a bit of
a
a
bit anticlimactic,
Yeah,
that, innit? Just
I
because
would-
I think like a lot of Burgess Hill fans, or certainly a few that I expect, like a lot of them go to Crawley if there's not a Burgess Hill game or we're playing away too far. Like, I think there is a slight cross contamination, sounds like the wrong word, but in terms of our fans, I think there's a few that attend both Burgess Hill and Crawley games. So I feel like that might be the spectacle of the FA Cup might make it a bit more magical, but I still think that it'd be better if we had like your Boltons,
No,
your
I
Cardiffs.
think you're 100% right.
Or Gillingham, just to see whether they cup tie Damien.
Oh yeah, they 100%
That'd be
will.
interesting, wouldn't it?
Definitely will. I almost didn't recognise him in training the other day when he came in with his dreads.
Yeah.
Like the last time I saw him.
Jerry looked like he so enjoyed that game on Saturday. He's
Yeah.
smiling on his face and whatever.
He's
But,
such a happy guy. I love it.
So we'd take that. but we're probably going to get knocked out first round by
Oh,
Hayward
no,
Heath or something like that.
no,
Oh, definitely not by them.
No, not Hayward.
Considering they're already knocked out themselves. So,
Yeah, true. Yeah, they went out
Oh, yes, they did.
1-0.
They did.
Was it 1-0?
Yeah, 1-0.
It was 1-0.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
It's everyone. What a
So,
shame.
stop it. So that's really, I mean, who you get
That's the dream.
is the dream.
Cardiff.
Might be a
Leighton
long-
Orient.
Yeah. What if later on in we go on a Worldie Cup run? What happens if we get Millwall here? Who are you supporting?
Well, that's
Yeah, 'cause everyone has
half
to
and
ask
half
me,
scarf.
Everyone has to
So-
ask me about, what if Liverpool come down here? And I always can say, well, I don't have to ever think about that. So yes, now we get to ask you, what if Millwall come down here?
So, do you know what the thing I love about Millwall is that we're an underdog club. Right, is that the day that Millwall go on and win something is probably the day that most fans will go, that's enough for me. It genuinely is. What we like doing is ruining other people's party.
Yes.
If the worst thing that I think can happen to me, we've got a fantastic owner and chairman, and him and his dad have just been fantastic for our club. The worst thing that could happen is some Saudi billionaire taking over Millwall and turning us into Manchester City. Right? It's not us. Right. So what I like about it is the underdog, no one likes us, we don't care, philosophy of the club. It just ekes of it. So in that scenario, we'd go for the underdog, especially as under chairman as well, but actually, naturally, you'd go for it because you'd think, that it'll be a momentous occasion and Millwall can go and win it next year. That moment for Burgess Hill would be, once in a 140-year occurrence. So,
If not longer, yeah.
come on, your Hill.
Good answer. Very good answer.
I love it.
And how would it be if Liverpool came down? I've just said that.
Yeah, no, I would be back in Burgess Hill 100% all the way. But I would make sure that I get a picture of every single person from Liverpool that steps foot.
All those under 18s they bring.
Yeah, I want to claim to fame for all of them. But I would be supporting Burgess Hill on the day. Because it would obviously mean, my thought process, because it would mean so much more to us. Obviously, that's an objective thing to say, but it would mean so much more to us than obviously to Liverpool. So I would very much be in Burgess Hill corner.
Oh,
So there we go. So bring on the first round of the FA Cup.
Bring it on.
If it's not this year, it'll be 1 year.
It will be.
It'll
It will
I'm
happen.
not. I'm not going to be happy.
We're not letting you go
until it happens.
You're never allowed to leave until
it
it
happens.
We've got close. We've got to the round before at least twice, maybe 3 times. Dartford have often stopped us, which we can put right in the league now this year. So, it's not as if it's a complete, dream that might never happen. It's been...
The draw helps, doesn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
ultimately,
Yeah,
there
of
are
course.
teams that are 2 leagues above us in this competition to get qualified.
Yeah.
So, if you manage to... I mean, Millwall got through to the Cup final in 2004, which was a fantastic day. We didn't play a single Premier League side to get to the final. I mean, how lucky is that?
That is the kind of run you want.
It was insane.
Yeah.
We even got Sunderland in the semi-finals. I mean, it was so ridiculous. So 4 games, and if we happen to get a luck of the draw, you're there. So it's not ridiculous.
No.
And then who knows? On a lucky day, we might knock out a National League side.
Yeah. I have to touch on that Millwall 2004 because Matt Lawrence, who played for Millwall that day, I know what you're going to say, but his son, Zach Lawrence, used to play for us, Burgess Hill. He was Gary Mansell's first under 18 that come through. So the connections between Millwall and Burgess Hill are literally everywhere.
Yes.
So Matt Lawrence played that final. His son plays for used to play for Burgess Hill. I think he's now in scholarship in America.
I'm so glad you host this as well.
There you go.
I would.
No, it's not.
I remember him, but I would have never
Yeah.
have made that connection. Or
So there you go. See, people that listen this far, there you go. It's a bit of knowledge for you.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, it was a bit of a silly cup final. It was a brilliant day out, and we all had a lot of fun. But there was a football game that went on apparently, and
Apparently.
yeah,
they happen
and
occasionally.
Ronaldo decided to turn up and just basically annihilate us. So
It's
it was
not fair, really, is it?
No, cheating.
We're approaching 50 minutes, so we should probably start wrapping this up. But just before we do, we've I don't know if we officially adopted this as a segment now because this is going to be the 3rd time we've done it. But I'm going to surprise you with a few blind questions that our 3rd co-host ChatGPT has written.
Okay, is this the moment I'm going to have to say you're going to have to cut that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
No, so they're quite nice ones, I think. So just looking for some short, snappy answers. Although bit pot kettle there because I did rant about 3G for my one for quite a while.
This is true. He did.
So these are nice and easy ones, I think. So first question: what's been your proudest moment as a chairman so far?
Oh my God.
Being on this podcast?
A bit apart from I think that night on Sittingbourne, I mean, I've just seen people's, faces and their just absolute delight about being promoted. I've only been in this club in a very, very small thing, but these people have just been there for decades. And it was just such an amazing night. And I was so just chuffed for everybody, the players. But yeah, it was slightly awkward in the boardroom afterwards. But yeah, so, I don't actually know why I went in there, but I was I was trying to be polite.
You had to do it. I would have been straight in there.
But I felt gutted for them because it was just, it was.
They had a great season, and
they had a great season, and they were.
Could argue they deserved it. And
yeah, we did go in. It was almost Millwall-esque going and spoiled their party.
Almost.
Yes. But I think that night was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
However, though, there's been some.
I imagine there's loads of honourable mentions, close seconds.
Totally. I mean, I said the awards night was such a good night. It was weirdly nice, and there's do you know what? There's a reward and a punishment of owning and running this club every day.
Well, that kind of leads quite nicely onto the second question, actually, which would be, what are your biggest challenges you face running a non-league club day to day?
I tell you what we've not quite got hold of, and it's a bit embarrassing to say this, is we haven't quite worked out the costs of running this club. I haven't managed to get an accurate P&L. It just leaks money. And it's something that Vicky and I we spent so many years being really careful with our money, and we've got involved in this club, and we will get to a point where we've sort of nailed it all down. But there's so much going on out there, lots and lots of hidden costs, and we haven't really had a full year or enough of a time where we're in control of the incomings and outgoings, and it doesn't make me nervous. It's not what I want it to be. I want it to be clear about where we are with it, and it may be that in future seasons we can give the managers more money, or actually we're overspending now. I don't know, and that's it's all a bit of a guesstimate, and I want to get to that point where we're really clear that we know what comes in through the bar, we know what revenue we're getting from the pitch here, all these kind of things. There's so many things that we've had to fix in the club that were unexpected costs, that keep sort of, you lift up another stone and that's another cost. And I think that will come a point where that stables out and sorts this out. So that's the biggest challenge, is kind of just not quite knowing the financial side of it. It's nothing to worry about, but it's just from a personal perspective, especially Vicky, she really likes to manage all of this stuff and be really careful with it for the right reasons. And that's, in 12 months' time, we'll know exactly where we are with it.
Happy days. Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, finance is a mystery to me. So, and last one: if you could change one thing in non-league football tomorrow, what would it be and why? Doesn't necessarily have to be about Burgess Hill. Could be anything.
Great question,
in the game.
chat. Well done.
Gosh.
Well done, chat GBT.
Great question.
So, I right, am I going to say that? I'm trying to say this without being libelous. So we're in a kind of fortunate and unfortunate position, Vicky and I, is that we're regulated individuals. Well, we're in the financial services industry. Everything we do, it has to be proper checks and balances, and basically we have no cash, right? So everything we put into the business, the football club has to be accounted for and whatever. And I get a sneaking suspicion that other clubs, naming no names, it's all a little bit brown paper envelope.
Yeah.
And what it does is, and I'm saying this because I feel it's a bit of an unfair advantage, is that because we're not in a trade that deals with cash, that you can't pay the players in a way, and I don't think you should. I think you should be all above board and legal. But I get a sneaking suspicion, purely by hearsay and based on no evidence, that's not necessarily true for all clubs. So I wish the FA will get a grip of this.
A bit more transparency, a bit more level playing field.
Exactly right. And there's a lot of talk from the league and the FA that they're going to sort this out, and we 100% back them because it's the way it should be. And what will probably happen is that if players have to pay tax, so at this club, we make sure that players pay their PAYE, they pay their tax, because that's what we have to do in this country. That's how we pay for the hospitals and the the schools and whatever. We all pay our tax, and I think we make sure that happens. And I think that the FA are sort of really pushing to make sure the clubs. So I think what will happen is probably wages will come down to sort of fit the fact that you have to pay tax on it, and there'll be less of this sort of brown paper envelope stuff. I may be doing the football. Other clubs disservice, and maybe they're all as transparent and and I hope they are. But my gut feeling is that there's probably not enough checks and balances to make that happen yet at this moment in time.
I think that's a fair assumption.
I'm probably going to get thrown out and the chairman's club. If
not enough important people listen to this, I wouldn't worry.
the chairman's club, yes.
And it's probably, if I was a drug dealer or something like that, I'd be saying more cash. But unfortunately, that was not the career I chose.
No. And we are all thankful you did.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, there's no chairman that drug dealers, as far as I'm aware. So that's just so that the lawyers can do that.
It's purely a Burgess Hill podcast, guys. And we are not drug dealers.
So thanks for listening to the last episode of Fitness Talk. Well, that's it from me. Before we ever get any more lawsuits.
Do you know what? You should have given me those questions up front, and I could have thought of a less controversial answer. But then you went for the 3G. You went 3G doesn't cause any injuries.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I chat GPT them whilst we were doing this because I forgot to do it beforehand. So whilst you were answering a question from Jack, so I didn't even have them before this. Because
that's how we are on this podcast.
Do you know what? You guys make it look so professional that I kind of thought that you spent hours working out what's to be done on this. It felt so natural and sort of, I thought it was like the BBC breakfast. You prepared it and. No? Okay.
No, my mantra is always, it'll be all right on the night. But the amount of times I say that on the night, people frequently remind me that this is the night.
Well, I'll tell you what, while you're sat here, I would like to say thank you for doing this podcast. Not this one. Not this particular one, but generally
least
doing
thankful
this podcast.
for this one.
Yeah. He's been asked to come on.
But it's been I've really enjoyed it. And I think it's a really good thing. It's something that you put in the background, driving somewhere, put it on the car, and I think it's really, really good. And I like you guys doing it. You're funny, and I don't know, are you meant to be funny? But you are funny.
I try really hard to be funny, so it's really.
I hope so, because I've not got a lot else going for me. So if I'm not funny, I'm in trouble.
But yeah, no, it's really good, and I'm so glad. Keep going, keep doing it.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
I am slightly worried about what happens when we start losing loads of games, and players start listening to it. But we'll worry about that one.
And we've vastly established that a lot of the players. Who was there was another one at training. Who said he didn't listen.
No.
Who was it? I can't remember. So we've already had words with Jay Betford. It might have been Welp though,
Probably.
It might have been.
He's far too busy.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
He's Mr. Media as well. I thought he'd love all this kind of stuff.
He did say come on though. I said because I thought he'd be a good player to come on.
He would be the best player to come on because what a career that man has had.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get him on.
So here's a question for you guys. I know I'm really, really labouring this one. They're going, when is this one going to stop? I've got a question for you.
So 2 minutes and we could do the first hour-long episode.
So Farnham Town have a player that is currently in Love Island at the moment. I've heard about this Love Island program.
I've never watched Love Island.
Well, this is for me then, because I'm a big Love Island fan.
So if there was a player in the current squad that we needed to put into Love Island,
I've never watched it, and I already know who I'm saying.
Okay, so Lynden, who are you going to go for?
Boxy, my brother.
Boxy. Yeah. However, the only thing I would say about Boxy,
if he was not in a relationship, obviously.
Well, this is what I'm saying. He's low loved up, isn't he?
My answer's different, but it's also somebody in a relationship. So of course, it would be if in this make believe world that they were single.
Okay,
but mine is not Boxy.
Who is that?
Reggie.
Reggie,
he's a very, very attractive young man, and he was fit right into that Love Island influencer,
I think you're probably
scene.
right. I think you've got good calls on all
Martin
them.
as well.
Yeah.
Martin as well, because Martin's got the chat.
And what about Ryan Worrell? Because he's both single
Actually, he'd be
and
good as well.
he'd be. I mean,
you know what,
he'd be thrown out after the first couple of weeks.
He is. Wow, I'm not sure what I can say on this podcast about Ryan Worrell, apart from what a fantastic footballer he is. Because he is quite the character.
He's a fantastic character, isn't he? He's
exceptional.
I love him so much. He's so funny. He makes me laugh every time.
So on the coach coming back on it, so he organises the karaoke, and I've got to tell you that I'm glad they're footballers because the singing's not great. But
really shocks me.
He is hilarious.
He's
I mean,
so
he is
funny.
totally whatever he does. I can't, is he Lay's teacher? Isn't he? He's like
I think so.
he's a PE teacher.
Yeah.
Is he a PE teacher?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but I mean, can you imagine the kids at school? They must absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely
He's
bonkers.
definitely a cool teacher, isn't he?
Oh,
so there was always a couple at school.
God,
They usually were PE teachers.
They usually were
to be
PE
fair,
teachers,
so.
yeah.
But he's totally wasted in teaching because he is just entertainer. He's a total clown.
Yeah.
Love
Of course, all of these nice things will be changed, and in the editing room, if we find out he doesn't listen to this podcast,
it.
another one that we will put on smoke.
I almost guarantee he does. I bet if he listens to it, just in case his name is mentioned.
Yeah.
Ryan, if you're listening, let us know.
Please.
We've hit an hour. This is officially the longest episode.
Sorry, I do talk a lot.
This is the most important episode with the most important guest, so it's only fair that
And is there another guest on after me then?
Oh, don't do that to yourself.
Well, it's episode 10. I feel like we've got to do a big one next time. We've got to do something. It's episode 10.
Well, I've got our thinking caps on.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, well, thanks everyone. If you're still listening, if you've made it this far, well done.
Yeah. Shout out Ryan Worrell, clearly.
Yeah. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you very much for joining us,
Excellent.
David.
Pleasure.
very much.
Thanks, guys.